So to find out more about this amazing gear and find out how to get DIYing this weekend, can you please put your hands together and welcome onto the stage Wayne and Steph, the DIY Doers.
I'm feeling good.
Hello, my name is Wayne.
And my name is Steph, and together we are the DIY Doers.
Hello, are you feeling good?
You feeling good?
You been shopping?
Good.
Yeah, well, hopefully by the end of this session, not only will you go away feeling good, but you'll feel inspired to pick up the tools and have a go at being a DIY doer and fixing all those simple DIY jobs in your house.
Absolutely. Look, in the past, DIY has had a bit of a negative reputation. We always hear the horror stories of where things have gone wrong, people hurting themselves. Even my dad says, destroy it yourself, you know? But we want to put the passion and the positivity back into it because we know that with a little bit of knowledge, you really can achieve a lot.
So, what are we going to teach you today? Well, as you see, there's been a huge increase in shows like the Great British Bake Off, Fill Your House for Free, Upcycle Down, Great British Sewing Bee. Now, what all of these shows have in common is the feel-good factor.
That's right.
Now, for some reason, DIY seems to be missed off this list. And we know that through fixing our own home and doing lots of DIY, that you can feel good and gain the confidence to be a DIY doer.
That's right. Look, we know about all the negative stuff, but we're here as the new faces of DIY to inspire you, to tell you how to do the job safely, not tell you the negative stuff, so that you can achieve those jobs, save money, save time, and the best thing of all is gain that confidence to really do DIY.
So, who are the DIY doers? We're DIY geeks. We love DIY. We love fixing things. And what we're going to teach you today, we're going to teach you some basics, home principle things, how to look after your safety in your home with gas, electrics, and water, so how to turn those off. But then also how to use a basic power drill, so how to use this good combination drill. Because if you can use this, then you can do any DIY jobs in your house. So you can fix those toilet roll holders that keeps falling off your wall. You can fix the curtain ties. So with that knowledge, we'll be teaching you all of this.
That's right. So a bit about our history. Yes, Wayne's absolutely right. We are DIY geeks. My story is a really simple one. I bought a flat and I couldn't afford to pay for tradesmen to do it up. I fortunately had a neighbour who was an ex-builder, and he donated all his old tools to me. And that sort of set me off on my journey, and it was a journey of confidence building and learning from tradespeople as I went along. I then had good fortune of buying that doer-upper, the one that nobody wanted on the market, and just a little example of how we transformed this tired old kitchen into a beautiful home space. And same deal, thanks Wayne, with the bathroom, just hadn't been touched for years. And this was all through learning and growing the confidence that I did myself, and now I'm here to inspire you to do the same.
Yeah, and my story is, as 8 years ago, I renovated my house because I was expecting my first daughter. We needed more space, and then the credit crunch hit, and we ran out of money. So I then had to change jobs a little bit and become a carpenter and learn how to fit the doors, fit the kitchens, and do all these jobs. So these are the stuff we made. So the bottom one there is my daughter's bedroom. The top right is our lounge. And this is my wife's bedroom, our bedroom. And that shoe drawer got more likes than the birth of my daughter.
Look at that.
A 6-foot-long shoe
6 feet
drawer.
of shoes.
She's still got more shoes in there. So from there, being a carpenter, my wife pimped me out on Facebook, and I started doing more and more carpentry jobs. I then got asked to do an interior design show called the Great Interior Design Challenge, which is on BBC Two. So I've now become a bit of a TV carpenter. So on top right with Kelly Hoppen and Dan, left worked on This Morning. Bottom right, I built the set for Tattoo Fixers. So, and then on the left, I did a gardening show. So I've kind of done a broad spectrum of TV shows regarding carpentry.
That's right, and we got together because people kept asking us, can you give us help? They were asking for advice. So we thought, look, there's obviously a need for this, and we created the DIYdoers.com, and it's a resourceful website where you can learn from our online courses. You can ask questions, get advice. There's lots of video help and top tips and blogs. And also we created the DIY Doers Club on Facebook, which is a fantastic community where like-minded DIY geeks, even tradesmen, people get involved to help other people. People ask questions all the time. We had that really good example of the lady in Wicks, and she wanted to sand her front door, and she was having a panic at the overwhelm of all the different sandpapers available, and put a post on Facebook, and within 2 minutes someone had answered and helped her right on that moment. So it's a brilliant club to join. Obviously it's Facebook, so just get involved. Come and join us on the DIY Doers Club and check out our website too.
And it's all free. It's a total free resource.
Absolutely.
Okay, so our wins, our new approach to DIY, because we don't focus on the negative, more about the empowering and encouraging, has been noted. So we currently write for the Sunday Times Home magazine. Actually, we were in it this Sunday. I don't know if you noticed, you saw. So we answer questions for them. Crafty Beggars, top left, we do a TV show with those. We've been featured in various magazines, Home Style, front cover there, Steph, and Reloved. But also we're just filming a new BBC show at the moment, a DIY BBC show, which will be on in May. We can't tell you any more than that because we'll get into trouble. But it's quite exciting, and it's about, again, empowering and showing people the tricks of the trade with DIY.
Yeah, definitely. So look, today,
what we're going
let's
to teach
teach
them.
these lovely people some home safety.
Yes.
So by show of hands, just out of interest, who here would know what to do at home in an electrical emergency? You've got a clear vision in what you would do, but just by show of hands. Excellent. Good. Okay, and similar situation for water. So, you know, burst pipe or something happens with your water at home. Just by show of hands, who would know what to do? Yeah, I think water's a bit more of a common thing. And what about gas? Yeah, so 3 marks for you, sir.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's where we always start because it is the most important thing, we feel. And we've got this free online course. We say course, it's 3 video modules. It's 3 videos that explain really clearly what we're going to talk about today. And we always give it to people and encourage people to gift it to other people to spread that knowledge because it's so important.
Yeah,
You know,
we want this.
it really is.
Whether you're a homeowner or you're renting or your kid's going away at university, knowing where your stopcock is and knowing how to turn your gas off in an emergency, everyone should know. But most people are scared of that.
Yeah, that's right. So should we start with the old fuse box?
So first thing we're going to talk about is fuse box.
Let me go over there.
The fuse box. Most people are petrified of. I know my wife wouldn't even open the door because she was scared she was going to electrocute and zap.
Is that you as well?
Scared of it. But actually, the reason we're telling you this is it's totally safe and actually want you to be friends with your fuse box. And so I'm going to show you how it works, the basic principles of a fuse box. So if you open up the cupboard, you'll see all of these buttons, right? And it's like the main power source to your house comes into this one box and then it's divided throughout the rest of your house, okay? So you've got a main switch. So it's normally the biggest one, big red switch here. If you flick that switch, all the power to your house would go out. So if in any doubt you want to cut off the power, flick that switch. That would get rid of that. And then what it does then, all the power is then divided into all of these circuit breakers. So all of these are circuit breakers. And what that does is each circuit represents a different part of your house. So under here, there's normally some writing or there's some pictures that, you know, so you can work out which ones they are. And then normally your electrician would have written on them. And what it does is they represent, might be your upstairs lights, your downstairs lights, your upstairs plug sockets, your downstairs plug sockets. There'll be one that looks after your kitchen and one looks after your bathroom and then further rooms outside or whatever. So if you want to isolate power to one room or one area, you can flick these switches and it'll isolate it. Then you have RCDs, these ones here, and what they do is this one will look after all of these here, right? And what that does, I've got a new puppy, and if my little puppy suddenly decides to chew its way through a lamp in my bedroom, it detects as a surge in power. A different power is happening within all of these circuits here. And what it'll do, it'll switch, it'll flick off, it'll fuse, and it'll stop power. So it stops my puppy constantly being frazzled. It'll get a bolt, but it'll stop. So if you're outside cutting your grass and you cut through the cable, and rather than the power keep coming through, it'll isolate it and turn it off. So these are good things. What these do, these are protecting you, protecting your house. If, for example, you're in your lounge and you flick the switch on to turn the lights on and the bulb goes, all of a sudden all the power goes out because it detected there's a slight power fault or a change. One of these switches will flick up. So the lounge one will flick up. So you know if you're sat in darkness, you want to regain power, go back to your fuse box, flick the switch down, and hopefully power should be restored to that area. If for any reason it keeps fusing, it means there's a fault somewhere, and you'll need to get an electrician to come and look at that. Okay? So that's electric
it's a bit overwhelming,
safety.
isn't it, electric, especially for DIY. So we've created a PDF that you can download that explains all the legals, what you can and can't do, because obviously there's a lot of legalities around DIY and electric, especially in kitchens, things like that. So there are things that you cannot touch. But when it comes to switching like for like, so you want to update your sockets or your light switches or a new light fitting, that is all within the realms of DIY legally. So any doubts, go to the website and download the PDF, but the best thing about being able to isolate is it means you can isolate that area specifically. You know how it works in order for you to move forward and update your lights and feel confident doing that DIY.
Yeah. Next one.
Next one
Water.
is the water, yeah. So, we had a few people who knew where their stopcock is, yes? You don't. Okay. The first thing, I'm going to ask you to do two things. When you go home, find it, and then turn it, because it's really important that it works. And what a lot of people do is they know where it is, but then it's only a problem when it's a problem, right? So we go along without even thinking about it, and then all of a sudden, the worst happens, and we're having to turn off our water in an emergency. So, it will probably look something like this, brass tap, unless you live in a very modern home where it could be a sort of lever. It will 9 times out of 10 be in the kitchen under your sink. It could be in a cupboard under the stairs. But you will find it, and when you find it, you want to turn it all the way to the right to turn it off. We say in DIY Doers, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Really good way of being able to remember what to do.
I only discovered this like 3 years ago. I've been a carpenter for years, and she tells me that, and I think every time I use a screwdriver, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. And that's in your head, you'll never forget it.
But, yeah.
If anything, we've taught you something today.
Yeah. So, turn it all the way to the right to shut it off, okay? And then turn it all the way back to the left to fully open it and then go back a turn. That's the way to keep it in that perfect position. So it's fully open and then back one turn. And that will avoid it from seizing, because being brass, and obviously, you know, there is limescale in water, things do seize up when they're not used, a bit like us. I seize up when I'm not being used. Anyway, so turn it all the way to the left, one back, and that will ensure that it's not going to seize. You need to do that every 6 months. You need to do it tonight. Okay, go home, find a stopcock and do it. These are another example of the sort of isolation valves you'll find with your water and things in your home. So these are excellent at isolating one area much in the same way as the fuse box. So say you've got water, you will have feeding your toilet and your basin and your bath all separately within your bathroom. If something goes wrong with just the toilet, you're able to isolate it with this rather than having to turn off the entire water source with your stopcock, okay? And how this works is really simple. This little slot in the top indicates the water flow, and there's normally a little arrow even on this isolation valve. When the slot is in this direction, the water is flowing, it's open. When it is crossed like that, horizontally, it's shutting the water flow, and that will stop it. So again, if you've got something wrong with one particular item of water in your home, you can just isolate that one. And you know, get a flathead screwdriver and try it. You know, put the tap on, turn it off, turn it on, get to know how it works and how it feels. It's all part of the learning and confidence building.
The bottom one, for example, is if you're changing your washing machine. People change their washing machine and think, I've got to get a plumber in. All you need to do is turn that. All of them pretty much have these taps. They tend to be blue and red.
That's
so it'll
right.
show hot water and cold water to your washing machine. If you want to change your washing machine, just turn that tap and you unscrew the pipe like a hose.
It works in the same way, doesn't it? You can only make them go like that and like that, so you can't go wrong. And obviously, this is open, and that would be closed.
Okay, so that's water. Now, gas. At DIY Doers, we encourage you to do as many DIY jobs as possible. With this, don't do it. Don't do anything to do with gas. You can't change your gas cookers or your gas hobs or anything like that. You can't do any plumbing in. That has to be done by a safety engineer. But what I can teach you is gas safety. So if you smell gas, and you can smell it in the house, there's a few things you should do. One is turn off the gas valve. So it's a bit like the water, it's normally under the stairs, it tends to be near your fuse board, strangely, interestingly. You turn off the gas supply. Next thing, don't turn on any light switches. I see so many people opening under the stairs, switch on the light switch to have a look at the gas meter. If you smell gas, don't do it, because you might get a rogue spark from your light switch which could ignite the gas. So no electrical, no switching anything on. Don't have any naked flames or light a cigarette while you're waiting for the gas engineer to come out. It has been seen and has been done before. So no naked flames. Don't flick any switches, get electrics involved. And the final thing is open the windows, get the air circulating the house, get the gas out, and then, the final thing, call your gas engineer. On your gas meter, where you read your meter, there'll be a little number on there, and it'll have your gas supplier, and by law, they have to come out and fix any gas leaks. And it's free of charge. It's not going to cost you anything. It's in their interest to make sure your house is safe. So that's gas safety.
Right. Time to move on to
Da-da-da!
the power tool of all power tools. Okay. Madam, do you have a drill? Do you own a drill? You do own a drill. And do you confidently use it? Would you be interested in coming up on stage today and having a little talk through the drill with us? Okay, come on up then. What's your name? Chris. Hi, Chris. Steph, come up on stage. Thanks, Chris. You're our first male candidate. We normally have a lot of females interested in learning their way around the drill, but if you're going to buy one power tool in your life, buy a drill, because as Wayne said earlier, it does open all your DIY doors and give you a lot more potential to do more. Now, I'm going to give you this one, Chris. Is this similar to the drill that you own?
I've got an older one which has got a chuck key.
Oh, he's got an older one with a chuck key, yeah.
I have also bought just recently.
A little combination. Yeah, so this is what we recommend to anyone who doesn't own one and is looking to buy one. Get a decent combination drill. These are great because of the combination of things that they do. So this is obviously a different style chuck. Now, Chris, do you know why it's called a chuck?
I think because it just locks, well, I know what it does, it just locks the drill bit or
Yeah.
a piece of equipment.
No idea why it's a chuck though, eh? No, neither have we. Anyway, so that's the bit at the front here. So just to demonstrate, what that does is it just revolves around like this, and there are little claws or teeth in there that open and close, and they hold your drill bit. So they're quite easy to maneuver. You can just do it like this. There is a fancy pants way, where you do, this and this, but, the manufacturer wouldn't recommend that, would they, Wayne?
No, but it's a lot quicker.
It is a lot quicker, so I've done that for quickness. Right, so that's the chuck at the front. Now, these three buttons, are we on the... Oh, yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
So the functions are screwdriver on this, drill bit, and hammer. And they're little pictures, so they're so easy, you're not going to forget what they are. And the hammer action is just that it is able to hammer as well as rotate, so you're going to get a lot more power. So you'd use that for your masonry solid walls, wouldn't you? And next, we've got our gears. Now, there's lots of sort of buttons on drills, and people sort of think, I'm not really sure what this does or what this is going to do, how this is going to help me. But actually, it's a bit like a car. So first gear is low and slow. You're going to get a lot more power, as if you were going to go up a hill in a car. And the second gear is a faster speed, but there's not so much power there, right? Does that make sense? And then you've got your direction buttons, which are on the side. Now, I'm left-handed. Are you right-handed? You are. So you can do the trick forward with your forefinger of your right hand. I have to adapt that. And then back, reverse, is on the left-hand side. There are actually little arrows on the drill, which makes it super easy. But obviously, righty-tighty, forward, lefty-loosey, reverse. And the last thing is our trigger. This has got a variable speed trigger, which is really great in terms of having full control over the drill. If you press that now, you can feel that you're able to actually increase that power and then lessen it as you go. We've even got a little light on this one. And these batteries, this is obviously a cordless combination drill. The batteries on these are really good. They're a lot better than they used to be. This is actually quite light, isn't it? It's easy to maneuver with. And they do have a pretty good battery life. You obviously get a charger with it. But that's the way around our drill. Now, Chris, we are offering a competition. You're looking at this like it's a sort of torture device. Don't worry, we're not going to make you walk on it or lie on it. These screws, well, they do have sort of black ends on them, don't they? But we've decided we want to give away our online course to you today. It's got a recommended retail price, £147. It's called Discover DIY, the must-have guide to tools. Oh, I'll do that one in a minute. Oh, there is. And how to use them, okay? Now, if you can successfully pull out a screw, we're going to gift it to you. Does that sound fair?
Okay.
Yeah? Do you want me to sort of talk you through it, or are you going to...
So as you pull out the screw, that have to come out.
Absolutely right. Yeah. So he said he's going to pull out the screws. He's going to put it in reverse.
Yeah.
You're on a screwdriver function, so that looks pretty good.
Yeah.
I think you look good to go.
Just any screw.
Any screw you
screw.
like. And what people tend to forget is to drive as well as screw. So even though Chris is going to take this screw out, I'm helping you now. Even though he's going to take this screw out, he has to still give it pressure. Because otherwise, what happens if you sort of, if you pull the drill, as you're pulling the screw, it's going to come out of the head and fly everywhere, and you're going to feel, you're losing control of it, and it just doesn't help in terms of the confidence building. So you can apply that pressure even though you're removing it, and that's going to give you the best control. So pick a screw, any screw, and off you go.
Yes.
Lovely job. Well done, sir.
Can you put it back in?
There we go. Just saves us the job later. Thanks, Chris.
Yeah.
Just get
So
him to do
keep the
that.
pressure on. Yeah.
Very nice. And obviously he's put the drill now in forward instead
Cool.
of reverse.
Well done.
Very nice, sir. Thank you very much. We shall take your email address when we finish the show
Yeah.
and forward the course to you. Let's give a round of applause for Chris, everyone.
Hey.
Thank you. So yes, what you saw here was just, again, another PDF thing that you can download, a guide from our website, because everything's just in plain English. It's very easy to feel overwhelmed. So if you're looking to buy a drill, go on the website, you can take that, print it out, take it to the DIY store, and confidently know exactly what you're looking for.
Okay, so now we've taught you how to use the drill. What we want to teach you is the fixings that you need to buy so you can hang that picture on the wall or that mirror or put up that toilet roll holder. So we're going to show you some of the fixings and all the bits and bobs that you need to put things on the wall. So,
Shall I get the wall?
come on, bring the wall. You all right with that?
Here we are. Here's our wall, our makeshift wall that Wayne made for us. Thanks, Wayne.
You're welcome, you're welcome. So, when you're hanging something on the wall, there's two questions you need to ask. What kind of wall type is it, and how heavy it is? So to find out what wall type you've got, they're usually masonry or they're plasterboard. This is a plasterboard wall, and we'll show you the workings of that in a second. But a masonry wall is solid brick. So a lot of your older Victorian properties tend to, be made of brick. A lot of the external walls are solid. All your internal walls tend to be plasterboard. So how do you know? You tap on the wall. If you use your knuckles, tap on the wall, and you get that dead flat sound, it tends to be a masonry wall. If it's hollow and you can hear your neighbours next door saying, "Come on in," it means it's normally a plasterboard wall. So we're going to pretend it's a masonry wall, so it's a solid wall. So then you need solid plasterboard plugs. So these are like wall plugs or roll plugs. Roll plugs is the make of them. So we want to put up a picture. We want to put up something that's quite a large piece. So we'll choose a larger wall plug. So if you're going to your DIY store and you see all the different sizes, there's teeny ones, thinking it's heavy, I'm going to go larger. So choose a larger plug. Now, what most people don't know is on this packaging here, down the center here, it has all the information you need so you know what screws to use and what drill bits to use. So on here, it says 8mm drill bit. And it's even got a little circle, so now if I thread my drill bit through, that's the right size. And on drill bits, which are these here, they all have numbers on them. So this says 8mm, so I know to use this plug, I need an 8mm drill bit. And then down here, it says what size screws to use. So it tells me what thickness screws are best for inside this drill bit. So to use it, because it's a masonry, I would thread this through into here. You would make sure it was hammer function, because it's hammer and you want it to drive through, you want the power to hammer through. Drill into your masonry, the thickness, probably a bit longer than your drill plug, sorry. Drill it through, place your plug in and screw in with your screwdriver. So that's how you fix into masonry. Now, if you're tapping away and you know it's a plasterboard wall, this is where Steph comes in.
That's
here.
right. So just to show you the workings of a plasterboard wall, because it's actually quite useful, because we don't get to see inside our walls very often, do we? So here we are. This is what it looks like from behind. So plasterboard is actually two bits of paper and then plaster in between. So they are attached to these that are called battens, and they're normally about 30 or 40 centimetres apart. And you can see that clearly here. Now, when you're hanging something on a plasterboard wall, ideally you want to find these battens, because actually what you can then do is screw directly into the battens using a multi-purpose or a wood screw. You don't even need to use a wall plug. But that being said, if you want to be able to screw into the plaster, and you can hear, if you can hear that over my mic, but that does sound hollow. And then as I get to the joist, that it does deaden a bit, and I can feel that under my knuckle, the change in the density. If you're going to go directly into the plasterboard, there are some really good wall plugs that you can use for that are specially made. And you're looking for a hollow wall plug. And the same applies. They say on the packet about the drill bit size and the screw size. These ones work by, as you screw in, they sort of butterfly open, which avoids you from being able to pull them back out through the wall. See that bottom right? But we really recommend these guys.
These
and
ones,
they are
top
called
ones.
self-boring, or what are they called on that pack? Self-driving plugs, okay? And they come with their own screw. We've got a couple in the wall here. I'm just going to show you how easy they are to use.
Well, top tip though, first.
Oh, top tip. Yes, I always forget this bit.
If you're
the dust nappy.
The dust nappy. If you're screwing into the wall, you're not doing loads of carpentry or loads of work, and you don't want to get the hoover out and don't want to create any mess. Where shall I do it? I'll do it in the middle
We
here.
always want to not create mess.
We don't want to create mess. You get some masking tape. My northern accent there.
Masking tape. I call it masking tape. Wayne calls it masking
She's a
tape.
bit posh than me. Create a bit of a dust nappy.
There we go.
And then Steph is going to
Look
be
at that.
screwing above
Now,
there.
this is a wobbly wall because we're on a table,
I'll hold
so
it.
please will you hold that? Okay, so forward motion on the drill. I'm going to go low and slow, but I'm going to take it off hammer. I'm going to actually put it on screwdriver to just give me a bit more control. And I can kind of push the little point into the wall a little bit to give me a nice sturdy start off. And then low and slow, I'm just going to, so if you can see that, I'll go with my right hand. I'm actually left-handed. Going straight in, going to give it a little bit more beans. Just like that. And that's gone directly into the wall. That's giving me a raw plug. And then take my screw, mind the nappy, straight in. And there you go. That is a really, really simple way of hanging something on a plasterboard wall. And just to complete our little dust nappy, why we call it a nappy is because you do this, wrap it all in, collect the last bit of dust with the masking tape, and there you go. So those are really useful things to use on a plasterboard wall, the self-boring plugs. Now, obviously, should we talk about the safety? Because what people always fear is drilling into something behind the wall that they can't see.
So one of the biggest questions we always get asked on the DIY Doers Facebook page is, I'm scared about drilling into something. I'm scared about hitting some electrics or water or anything like that. So, but some rules for you. With electrics, with regards to electrics, wires and cabling behind this plug socket will always go vertically or horizontally. They'll never go diagonally. So we always know we can drill anything here, but here's a bit of a dodgy area, and here's a bit of a dodgy area. But to be fair, the only time you see plug sockets going from here to here is when they're pretty much really close to each other. So it tends to be in your kitchen. You know, you see them on your counter units. They all go across. But what normally happens is the wire will go down, run behind your skirtings, and then come up in another area. So we know that here is dangerous. So there's a way to check this. If you, like before, we said earlier on, go to your electric fuse board and isolate this plug socket. So if you go to your fuse board, flick that switch down. I sometimes plug in like a lamp or something, go to my fuse board, flick the switch. If the lamp's gone off, I know there's no power in this area. Unscrew this front when you know there's no power in the area. Should be all right now, yep.
Yeah.
A little bit more.
A little bit more?
Yeah.
Just using a little small flathead screwdriver just to remove those two screws on the sockets.
And if you drop it down, you can see that it's all wired in. The cable has come from the bottom. So I can see that the cable's come from the bottom. Sometimes it might come from the top or the sides, but it's come from the bottom, which I know now that the cabling is here. So I know it's totally safe to drill anything up here. Yeah? So that's, and you know, when then replace that and turn your power again. How to make sure you're not going to drill anything into water. Think about your house. So think about, say if you're putting something on the wall in your bedroom and the next door is the bathroom. Think about where the plumbing is. If it's coming through the wall into the bath and you can see what it is, there might be some plumbing behind there. But generally, if you're doing a room where there's no plumbing around, the chances of you hitting any water pipes are really rare. But if still you're a little bit nervous about it, the best thing you should do is get yourself a detector. You can get these, they start about 50 quid, but it gives you that total confidence. So this one finds stud, so it finds wood batten. So if you still can't find the battens by tapping along, you can press the stud button. Let's see if it's going to work. Have I turned it on? Goes along. There, it's found a stud. So I know that there's a hard timber batten there. So if I want to hang a heavy piece, I'll screw into there. Then if you want to make sure you're not hitting any electrics, that's going red there. It won't show because the cables come by. But you can use this to detect your electric cabling and any water or any metals in your wall. So if you just want complete peace of mind, this is the best thing to use.
Great, so I hope you found that helpful and you've learned something. There are bookmarks around. If you haven't got one, do come up and grab one. It's got all the information about us, about where to find us, and there's also a code on the back that gives you 90% off our online course, Discover DIY, that Chris won earlier on today. So feel free to check out the website. Do join the Facebook group. It's a great DIY community. You'll find lots of people and you can share your DIY wins and achievements and ask your questions as well. So thanks very much. And remember,
you can be a DIY doer.
Thanks
Thank
very
you.
much.